It's not the most accomplished. That would be San Antonio in 07. And that was the greatest challenge because you had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu all in their prime. You had Bruce Bowen, you had Michael Finley, Robert Horry. I mean, that was a great team. And they obviously swept the Cavs. He had nobody to work with. So as far as challenges, that was his greatest challenge.
Let's give Mo Williams a little respect.
No, we
Just a little respect. He's an all-star.
Mo had a good year. He had a good
all-star.
year. He hasn't really started anywhere else, but with LeBron, he was an all-star.
The only Mo you really
But
know.
you know that team was probably the worst team ever to get to the finals.
Chris,
Arguably.
Chris, the only Mo that you really know was with the Three Stooges. Mo, Larry, and Kurt. So stop talking about Mo
How
Williams.
do you know the Three Stooges? How old are you?
Why you
I want
think?
to know.
Skip, we had a TV, okay?
But to answer the question, this is the best team he's ever faced because you got 2 MVPs in their prime that no other team he's faced had that. You're the best offensive team in the league and the second best defensive team in the league. No other team he's faced has done that. I think at the end of the day, this team will have 4 Hall of Famers. So you got 2 for sure, Durant and Steph. And I think if they keep getting to the finals and win some of them, which they probably will, then all 4, Draymond and Klay, will end up being Hall of Famers as well. And then I think their bench, which earlier in the season struggled, has really come on and is tough now. And I'm going to say this. They've got the best backcourt in NBA history, Steph and Klay. Because if you look at all the other great backcourts, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars obviously comes to mind, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, those duos had like 3, 4, maybe 5 years together in their prime, if that. Whereas Klay and Steph are in their prime together their entire careers. And then Durant's a top 5 power forward or small forward of all time, one of the top scorers of all time. So, yeah, I think this is clearly the best
But
team
we know
he's
he
ever
can't
faced.
ever be number 1, don't we, Chris? We know that.
I agree. Not
know
number
that.
1 or probably not number 2.
So we know that for fact.
We don't know it for a fact.
We know it for fact.
You know that, Skip. You'll even admit that.
This is the toughest. This is the toughest because of what he's up against. And as you mentioned, all these guys are in their absolute prime. He's facing the MVP from 13, 14, and 15 in their prime. 4 All-Stars the same season. 3 All-NBA players. Now, if you throw Klay in there, Klay was All-NBA last year. So he got 4 All-NBA players. All of these guys are in their prime. And as Chris mentioned, they're the number 1 offensive team, but the number 2 defensive team. So not only can they go score 140 on you, they can hold you to 90. When you throw that, Skip, let's be real. Now, I'm still, you know, LeBron. LeBron gonna be able to do no wrong. Because I think if he could take down a 73-9 team, being down 3-1, sky's the limit.
So LeBron's competition is really only LeBron. You know, if he plays up to his level, then they're going to beat anybody, right?
But if you look at when they took down the Thunder was young. So I'm gonna give, even though they're gonna be three Hall of Famers, because KD, Russ, and Harden. The big 3 in Boston, KG, Ray, as he mentioned, and he took down San Antonio in 13. Now they came back to get him because they got 4, but
he's faced teams that are
way better than what Michael.
That's true.
Michael's only faced 2 Hall of Famers. The most he's ever faced on one team is 2.
Yep.
Old Magic.
Tell me when it's my turn.
Okay. Old Magic, Old Worthy 91. He faced Stockton and Malone.
That's not the question we're
won.
talking about right now.
Yes, it is.
Those are facts. You're right.
Yeah.
Those are
Go ahead,
facts.
Skip.
You got to admit that, Skip.
So here's the ultimate fact of this discussion. The man across from me, my friend Shannon Sharpe, is trying to make a case for the super team that is the Warriors. One of the greatest teams ever assembled, maybe the greatest ever, so that when LeBron takes them down, then LeBron can walk hand in hand into heaven with Michael Jordan. Really, that's what we're trying to say. That's the essence of this discussion right now. Now, can we get back to the realities of this discussion, please, from 2 blind witnesses?
You're going to take the opposite approach. Tear them down.
Here's the point.
So that it's not an accomplishment.
Seriously.
Okay.
Nothing but the truth. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry have proven next to nothing to me in the postseason. Either one of them. Next to nothing in the postseason. Either one of them. Because let's start with Kevin Durant. Did he not come up small against LeBron in the 2012 finals?
He averaged
really
30
did.
on 50%.
Oh,
He played well. How did he come
I
up?
thought he couldn't defend
Harden
LeBron.
came up. Well, yeah, who came? man.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I was disappointed in him in the big picture because LeBron just took him to school. You can say he was a baby and Harden was a baby and Westbrook was a baby. And at one point, Magic called a half that Westbrook played in the first game, I think, in Miami, the worst half I've ever seen a point guard play in a finals game. But we get all that. So let's go to 2013. Kevin Durant had a chance to make a big statement because Russell Westbrook was hurt in their series against Memphis, and they won game 1, and then they proceeded to lose 4 in a row. And in clutch stats, late game stats, Kevin Durant came up really small in that one. He was 3 for 17 in late game situations, 0 for 3 from 3, and 2 for 5 from the free throw line. And then what happened in 2014 when my Spurs went on to blow out LeBron by a record margin in the finals? Game 6 at Oklahoma City. What happened? My Spurs knocked out the vaunted Oklahoma City Thunder of Westbrook and Kevin Durant, who, by the way, in overtime of that Game 6, Kevin Durant went 0 for 3 in overtime. This is where your money is made, your legacy is built, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't see it. And then last year, of course, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were up 3-1. They lost 3 in a row, and in those 3 games combined, Kevin Durant was 7 of 26 from the three-point line. That's 27%, and that's not good enough. So I see next to nothing in his postseason legacy to date. He's been really good in these playoffs against, I've given you this from the start, little to no competition on the western side of the bracket. So let's look at Steph Curry. Has he even remotely lived up to his regular season MVPs over the last 2, let's just say finals, okay? Last 2 finals? No, because
2015, he averaged more points in the finals
but
than he did
Iguodala
the
was the MVP. I'm sorry, he was, and the whole series swung when Iguodala was inserted into the starting lineup in that pivotal Game 4 that LeBron should have won in his house, up 2-1. He just should have won it. If he's on Mount Rushmore, you win that game. And he came up small. My friend Stephen A. Smith said, he ran out of gas. Well, LeBron, Iron Man doesn't run out of gas in Game 4 of the finals. I'm sorry.
But you said Russell Westbrook ran out of gas this year. That's what you said.
Okay, but he's not on Mount Rushmore. This is the Iron Man.
Everybody else you'd put on Mount Rushmore
let's go to Steph Curry last year in the finals. Was he hurt,
No.
nicked?
Well,
who knows? Well, okay. But again, they're up 3-1. And boy, those last 3 games, Steph came up even smaller than he actually is because he had 7 assists to 12 turnovers in those games. And if we look at his PER in the 3 series in which he might have been hurt, but the conference semis, then conference finals and NBA finals, his PER fell from 29-1 in the semis to 24-1. To the NBA finals, he had a 16.3 PER in the finals, which is abysmal for a guy who had just won the unanimous MVP. They have proven next to nothing, so don't bring super team to me because you have nothing to show for it.
They got 1 ring. Steph was 25.6 assists and 5 rebounds in the finals 2 years ago. The last 3 games, he averaged 29 points.
They were in
on
big trouble.
49%
They were down 2
shooting.
games to 1.
But so what? I mean, Jordan's been down 2-1.
But Skip, this is what I don't understand. Why is it that no one can outlive their past except Michael Jordan? We forget that, like, anything that happened outside of those finals didn't exist.
We went 6-0 with 6 MVPs. That's,
but Skip, he played
what's
16
to outlive?
Years. Skip, he played
The
16
first 6 years where they didn't get to the finals.
Yes, when he got swept. When he didn't have Scottie Pippen, he never won a playoff series without Scottie Pippen. He got swept twice by Boston, and he lost to the Bucks. You remember the Bucks with Terry Cummings?
You want to talk about being up against all-time great teams? Those were
Bucks?
3. No, back to.
He never beat them. That's the thing.
Couldn't
He
beat
never
the bad
beat
boys. Couldn't beat
the bad boys were old when he
Celtics.
beat. And I'm with you on Jordan being the GOAT, but you shoot down LeBron's competition and then raise up Jordan's. It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. I just gave you. Do you
He
think
didn't
Kevin
beat
Durant's been
those
good in the
teams.
postseason?
Yes. What's his career
stop
average
it.
in the postseason?
What's he done?
It's got to be 28 points.
He
at
ran to
least.
Golden State. He ran to Golden State. That's all you need to know.
So you holding that against him?
Has Steph Curry been good in the last 2 finals? He has not by his
25,
standards.
6, and 5.
Did he take over the finals?
He averaged 23 points
How
that
come-
year when he won MVP.
So you think the media was out of its mind to vote Andre Iguodala the MVP?
Yes, honestly,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't.